we should start the show. That's what we should do. That's what we're doing. We're starting the show. Yes, we'd like to start the show now. We're starting the show. It's time to start the show. Oh, I just called you a hoe. It's time to start the show. Oh, I just called you a hoe. There should be no muting. Everything should be coming in loud and clear. And welcome to the show. My name is James True, your egotistical host. I am self-full and effervescent and do my best to bring you the most authentic live stream that James True has ever seen or done, for that matter. And yeah, welcome to you all. Good to see you all in the chat. Thank you for the reminders of forgetting to hit certain buttons which shall go unnamed. I will just say that there's vitriol on every button, and there's even more vitriol on the buttons that you do not press, right? What do you think, buttons? What do you think? Open? You like that better? Let me push the Rockfin button. Oh God, the Rockfin button. Oh God. Oh God. Adrian's like screen capping this. She's like, this is for my court case. I'm screen capping this for my court case. I can prove that what James says, he's talking to me. That's what I can prove it. I can prove it. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah. So lots of busyness around the James True Farm here. Been really doing a lot of prep on the show. Yes, there's a show. James True Live, coming to you via the streaming platforms that you're watching us on right now. But additionally to that, I'm performing a live show in person in Rhode Island on 5/5. May 5th is the date. Today, I met with the high priest of the Tabernacle, and we got our plans approved for the third temple. And on 5/5, I can tell you with the utmost of certainty, we've already put down, we've spent a lot of shekels. Let me just tell you, I should open this because we spent a lot of shekels. Oh, God. We spent a lot of shekels today. And those shekels we spent were for you. Yeah, for all your little goyim out there, we've got something special for you on 5/5. We're giving you the opportunity, if you dare, to witness the Ark of the Covenant. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. The Ark of the Covenant. And there's a priesthood, a tabernacle that's bringing this to you. And you could only see this in person. Do not ask if we're filming this. There's no way we can film this. Are you kidding? You cannot film what's about to happen. And some of you are thinking that 5/5 is a single event. It's a single day, so it's not as important to come. Some of you have these barriers like oceans or borders with vaccine paperwork that's making you think that it's not the right time to come. And I say unto you, nay, no, nay, it is the right time to come. The Mecca, the Hajj to 5/5 is more important than you may think. In fact, I would be remiss, but also very forward in my declaration that it is no longer a single day event. I cannot give you any more details. I'm very sorry, but it is no longer a single day event. But those details cannot be disclosed at this time. But the high priest, who I've met with personally, is very optimistic about bringing you the Ark of the Covenant. And you're going to have to go to Rhode Island to do it. You're going to have to come. You're going to have to come. Now, if you can't come, you're going to have to demand that we do a show in your hometown. And we're going to have to sell a lot of tickets. Do you know how expensive it is to move a holy relic as important as the Ark of the Covenant? Guys, oh man. It is tough. So first of all, we had to dig it up, which took a lot of time. Don't ask me where. And don't say, oh, Ethiopia. Everyone knows this from Ethiopia. Okay, it wasn't in fucking Ethiopia, okay? It wasn't there. Yeah, good guess. But no, it wasn't there. Am I going to tell you where? No. Could it have been in Ethiopia? And I'm purposely telling you it wasn't Ethiopia to throw you off? Sure. But if you take Graham Hancock's balls out of your mouth for a sec, you'd understand that it doesn't have to be in Ethiopia. It doesn't. But it will be in Rhode Island on 5/5. It will be in Rhode Island on 5/5. And because of the safety concerns, read the Old Testament, because of the safety concerns, there are certain parts of this. Some of you think I'm kidding, by the way, and I'm not. Someone put a link in there to 5/5. This is not kidding. I'm not kidding. And there are certain precautions that we had to take. The average goyim cannot look directly at the Ark. Literally, the skin melts off their face. You know how they're always saying that the truth is in the movies? Well, it is. And the amount of welding goggles we went through, just getting this on the bus, holy jeez. And then we decided there's really no way that we could have a bus driver like have vision and have the Ark, because he kept looking in his rearview mirror. It took a long time to get it out of customs, but we have it, and we've taken the precautions, and those precautions will be met on the facility of 5/5. There's even a rider in the contract with that facility, Meehan Overlook, a beautiful place, where we've stipulated that we will be bringing a supernatural object, and they are totally down with it. It's totally fine. And you're going to need to come there to see it. You are. You're going to need to come there to see it. So, are those links in there? Thank you, Shitmoth. Thank you. I've been scolded, by the way, Married Moth, that I should be calling you Shitmoth. And so, just letting you know. That's why I'm calling you Shitmoth. I'm still torn up over the whole thing. Sovereignty, things like that. You get it. It's still a trick. So, yeah. Today, some of you are maybe new to my work. Scratch my nose. Some of you are maybe new to my work, and some of you may be wondering a certain bit of how I might feel about a certain topic. And one of those topics could be UFOs and Bigfoot. And I have a lot to say about this topic. I love this topic. I don't actually get to talk about this topic a lot because my view on what these things are tends to shut down debate. It's kind of not really what I thought should happen. When I say shut down debate, I'm telling you that right now, if I was, how do I say this? We discussed this. We discussed this with the inner circle. There's an inner circle, and so some of you know that I was in the military. Some of you know that I have a secret clearance. Some of you know that there's a rumor going around that I was in the CIA. Which really caused me to make some serious career changes. A little bit embarrassing for me around the office. Do you hear that? And some of you may have gone so far as to place a link between my credentials and the secret space program. I've seen you typing. You're clicking and typing it right now. And that I know that many times some of you have stalked my feed precisely looking for me to accidentally slip up and reveal things about the secret space program purely based off my credentials in my past. And I want you to know that harboring or supporting rumors like that, I think is salacious and uncalled for. And that if anyone was to insert rumors like this, to use them to stimulate or dilate someone's show under the false pretense or the pretense that maybe this person had some secret information about a secret space program, that I would be able to invoke and display to you how the technology of belief works. If those things were happening. A, if my credentials were what my credentials are, right? B, if you were to put two and two together. 3, if you were to ruminate on the rumors that you've already heard about me being in the CIA, you might see these things, which would be completely uncalled for, to suggest or even transmute, right? To even joke that these kinds of things could be true. And even the name true itself, you would see as a psyop inserted into the vernacular to establish some sort of MK program on you right now, okay? That somehow this MK program would be inserted by me as this CIA secret space program op, okay? And that MK program, okay, would somehow subliminally be injected into your mind, and you would be eternally placed into this slavery and this elite underground human trafficking program. And the entire thing was controlled by a secret space program, which I can neither confirm nor deny. And when I first entered this truth market, it used to cause fear in me to know that people were somehow coming up with rumors that I was in the CIA. And I would say, oh, wait, I must go defend my reputation. I must go stop them from saying that. And the same things occurred as I invoked and broke the spell of Epstein Island. As I informed everyone that the arches were painted on, that the padlock on the dungeon doors that was supposed to house all the children who had their face eaten off was in fact painted. And that's exactly what a CIA op would do. That CIA op would exactly expose the psyop that everyone else is falling for, and he would expose it simply to breed trust with you, to pull you into an even deeper psyop that you're living inside Dojo Earth. You see how this works. You understand. Okay? And as you look around at the chat, you start to realize that everyone in chat is actually working with me. And that there are subversives underneath the subversion. And that those subversives have loyalists that have defected to the other side. And that other side is mixed with a penance that has its own relative morality. And that we have truly slipped into the mouth of hell. And the devil himself is invoking the idea that we should have more compassion. What kind of deep, dark world have we entered into? Where am I even going with all these things, right? Which brings us to this book, Wonders in the Sky. Jacques Vallée and Chris Solbeck. Jacques Vallée and Chris Solbeck. Unexplained aerial objects from antiquity to modern times. Wonders in the Sky. And to me, this is the biggest clue to clue you into what UFOs are, what they mean, how it works. And the key that lets this book really resonate with you is understanding James True's theory of aperture. And that when you combine both these things, this book proves aperture, and aperture invokes why we see what we see. The UFOs that we see are costumed. We place them in costumes. And the costumes that we invoke are directly needed for the stage that we direct. We are directing the stage for ourselves, and we put emotions in costumes and bring them out at the right time to say their lines to us. The audience. We are the director and the audience. You might ask how that works, and you'll notice that the intuition has much more of a directorial role than any of us like to admit, while the neocortex tends to sit back and watch the show. This is why the neocortex is at least a half a second behind all of your intuitive thoughts. Every single deeper pond's emotion, the reptile that lives inside you. Did he just say there's a reptile inside me? Yes, that reptile that lives inside you is a half a second ahead of you in time. Every single experience that you have is old news to the reptile. And in that way, it makes the reptile more of a director than any of us would admit. In fact, so much more of a director that we would need to invoke our costume department to facilitate how to dress this energy. And we call up costume department. Hey, Charlotta, we need 6 outfits to disguise my fear of intimacy. We want to look like soap bubbles, scrubbing bubbles. Remember the scrubbing bubbles? That's what we want. And we are in the shower and thank God we're finally scrubbing that thing. Holy shit. And as we're scrubbing it, the scrubbing bubbles allow the emotions to come on stage to broadcast. Why did it take me so long to invoke the scrubbing bubbles here? And you start to realize that it was literally a different decade the last time you were here. And the only reason why you even had those really had nothing to do with the shower, although that's a big, big part of it. It really comes down to this emotional appetite you have to feel neglect. And that you display neglect around your home because it's a fashion that you want to feel. You want your energy to feel neglectful or neglected, either one. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And you will dress this energy in the costume that serves you best. In 1130 BC, Bohemia, Czechoslovakia, a sign or a monster resembling a flying serpent is said to have flown over Bohemia and was recorded by 2 separate historians. Japan, Just a few months later, a large serpent object seen floating over the land. Theodosius' tomb, a church facing east, the record reads, was an unusual fiery column with the apparition of an angel, because angels often appear as fiery columns or flames. All of these illustrations have been recorded in history of different wonders in the sky, different aerial sightings. And if you track them, you will notice that as technology changes, so does the costume which are invoked to put this in, and that you do the same thing. That you have unidentified flying objects in your own life, and that these UFOs are in the room because they represent the emotional truth that you cannot deny. The truth has to be in the room. And so you do the best thing you can to put it in a costume. This is why Bigfoot always looks like a Bigfoot. This is why UFOs always look like UFOs. This is why the silver ships are silver ships, when a long time ago they were steam. And before the steam industry, they were fiery clouds or pillars. And before they were fiery clouds, before we even commanded fire in such a way, they were serpents flying around in the sky. The animism is all around us, and we cannot pretend that suddenly we've shed animism and we don't dress things anymore, and now we see the world. There's the naivete that comes in, is thinking that now we've reached, because we're at the pinnacle of success. Look how successful we are, James. We've got it all figured out. Come on. We've got 72 vaccines. Come on. We're kicking ass here. We've got everything figured out. We've got 72 of them. Come on. We declare war every 1.3 years. We literally tax the shit out of each other, James. 45% of our life force, right? Going right back into the same man that's sucking it out. We are the pinnacle of mankind right now. And of course, we know that's not true, which means that we're invoking the same wonders, the same fashion that used to be invoked before. We're doing it now. We're doing it right now to everything around us. And we're lying to ourselves about it. And it's okay. I've told you, how many times have I told you, lying's okay? It's like, oh God, we're in the depths of hell now. Satan just said lying's okay. Of course. Of course. If you can't stare at the Ark of the Covenant, you need to get the fuck out, don't you? I'm not making you stay. Hey, it's your skin. If you can't handle the truth, it'll just melt off your face. No big deal. You don't want to stay? No one's tying you to a stake, okay? That fantasy where you're tied to a stake with a virgin girl and you're like, don't look in the Ark, don't look at it. You're not tied here. You can go. You can leave. But you can't, because when I tell you this thing, it infects your system. The light of the Ark is so bright, you can't even run away from it, which makes this stuff so terrifying, which is why we put it in costume. We put energy that's too profound for us to understand in a costume. We do it every day. Civilization is the energy of predator, and we live in nature, and predator is here to hunt you down. Predator is here to say, you will not be slothful. Predator is here to say, I will eat your children, motherfucker, if you don't build a gypsum wall. And we haven't gotten rid of Predator. We put Predator into a costume. We've agreed that all of us would act civilized as long as Predator had a bureaucracy to it. As long as Predator was as apathetic as you could imagine. We don't want no sharp, gnarly teeth. No, we want an invisible tumor to take us down. That's our relationship with Predator. And we put it in that costume, which is why you're walking around in the world where everyone's blind, one-eyed king. You see that. What did the corona tell you? Told you this very same thing. It's like, yo, this is how it works. You're like, why don't people see? And you know they don't see that well because you've listened to this idea of the aperture, that you literally need dopamine. You literally need melanin as a brake and a gas pedal to see. Serotonin's your clutch, by the way, but we can talk about that later. But that the more comfortable you are with reality, the more you're able to see it, the more you're able to render it. And if you're not comfortable, there are plenty of costumes that you can pull off the shelf that allow you to see. And, oh my God, here comes the elite talk. And if you and I were in charge, we might actually want to throw out a few archetypes that are more comfortable, that are more acceptable, that make it easier for us to see. Bigfoot's too tall, James. He's got like grunting. He doesn't wear underwear. You know he's got genitals in that fur. You know he does. And how does he even wipe? James, do you realize how bad Chewbacca smells after 4 days in the star cluster trying to hide from Imperial scanners? You can't run water with those scanners on. It gets all matted in his fur, and Chewbacca doesn't care. He's been living this way his whole life. So we need a better archetype than Bigfoot. This is the modern times, man. We need something catchy. We can't be saying everything we see in the sky is a dragon or a pillar of fire. No one's going to buy that. Let's give it some pizzazz. In the steam age, these were steam-powered UFOs. And they turn into silvery discs. And now those silvery discs are an entire secret space program that only a few people who happen to have the credentials would know. No, I mean, you know. And what is space but just the ocean with a lot more money, you know? The perfect frontier. There's only a handful of people that have the clearance to go above 50,000 feet. Did you realize that? It requires a certain security clearance to go above 50,000 feet. That's why the Concorde was grounded. Look it up. Look it up. If you're new, prune my lips. Keep pruning. Prune it all you want. Because I'm not here to be right. I'm here to make you think. That's all. And we put these things in costume because we can't handle it. We can't handle that. That's why we buy the idea of nuclear bombs the way we buy it. We buy that. It is still 6 months away. Iran is still 6 months away from a nuclear bomb. You guys are still thinking that. Not you guys. Maybe you guys. One of you is still thinking that. Yeah, looking at you, buddy. Right there. You're like 6 months, dude. Iran is 6 months away from a nuclear bomb. We've got to do something about that. Bigfoot is real. They speak telepathically. And I'm here to tell you that I think the energy is real. I am not suggesting you the energy is not real, by the way. I'm telling you that the energy is real, but you need something to put in that. You need a costume to put it on. Most of the people, TIs, schizophrenics, anyone that struggles with bipolar, any kind of thing like that, most of those people, you're never going to be able to convince that a lot of these energies are themselves. And you can't do that because it's part of the posture that allows them to feel better. Some people have such a wide open wattage that they have to disassociate from some of these forces, some of these dips. They have to disassociate and call something else. It becomes very important. And so if you want someone that taps into a signal, you're going to have to tap into their conduit for that signal. Schizophrenics call this, or meth heads and schizophrenics actually, both call these the shadow people. And if they have enough plasma, they will literally give them red eyes or green eyes. And it's a similar archetype that's seen across all the spectrum. It typically doesn't have a neck. It typically doesn't have the vulnerabilities, the shapes that would make it vulnerable are gone. And that's the costume that you place on it because you're trying to render and understand energy that is A, intimidating, and B, something you've never seen before, which means you lack the ability to render it in Plato's cave with enough effect. This morning, I opened the doors, I was brewing coffee, and I saw across the way, sort of down my driveway and across what I thought was a deer. And I was rendering, that's a deer. Oh no, it's got a rope tied around its neck. Only then did I notice it was a dog. Why did I render deer? I rendered deer because most of what I see around here is deer. I am practicing wonders in the sky. You are practicing wonders in the sky right now, but the idea would be so terrifying if you literally knew that you were rendering things as not things of what they truly are. And when I say what truly are, then we're getting into really, really stinky territory here because I'm talking about we have this false sense of reality, which is that whatever the majority of people sense we call real, we call that objective reality, and it's complete bullshit. It's complete bullshit. I'm sorry. If you were ever going to create your reality and base it off a mean average, you are a retard, okay? You don't get to call that reality. That you can call that consensus, right? That's consensual simulcronium, would be what that might be, the closest thing you could call that to. We can call that reality just so I can explain to you. But what I'm trying to say is that the human body will render things in the same costume simply because it's easier to accept when your neighbors are accepting that costume too, which is why you will see programming that literally has been pushing you, hand feeding you, spoon feeding you the idea of an alien that's shorter than man, that has no hair to get his poopy stuck in, that doesn't even poop, that has no teeth, that runs off photosynthesis, that has big kitten eyes, that has no fingernails, doesn't even wear clothes. It's as sleek as a butler. And this entire thing, we've given it a giant egghead. And it would be the softest way that we could understand information that is intimidating. That's all. And that I'm telling you that the power of media is the power to insert costumes into the closet that you would then be able to easily grab. And you watch that happen every day. This is why I'm talking about the nuclear program. That only the international military could create lies like this and spend so many calories inserting these ideas into the psyche because it would be necessary in order for them to hold the vibration of being the elite military. You would require a super weapon. And if you did not have a super weapon, you would literally pay your scientists to come up with what is the best story. Look at the Davy Crockett field nuke utilized in World War II. If you're new to my work and you're like, why is he going on about nuclear weapons? It's because of the Davy Crockett. Look at that. That is the most obvious Waynell Sexton object you've ever seen. 2,000 of them made. Not once was it ever fired because of how completely stupid and retarded it was. It was a giant butt plug taped to the front of a rocket, the front of the rocket. It was the most non-aerodynamic. It was the worst thing you could ever see, which is why no one was stupid enough to launch it. And that's exactly how you would insert a lie into the field of war, by issuing people the lie and calling it a weapon. And it's difficult to accept. It's hard to imagine that our own military would lie to us and that would be the responsible thing to do. Did you hear what I said? It's the responsible thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I don't care if you got diabetes, it's the right thing to do. You're going to eat these oats and you're going to lie to your people about the special military weapon you have, because if people don't believe that you have a weapon that can literally end life as we know it on this cosmological object that we call life, if people do not believe that we have a weapon to end that, then we will cease to be relevant in their eyes. And that is what Predator does. Predator doesn't even need to kill you. All it needs is to have the intimidation. And how does it invoke that intimidation? It invokes that intimidation with belief. You believe that it's more powerful than you. What makes you believe that? It's promise of destruction. It's promise, it's titillating stories of weapons. And after the gray, there will be a reptilian space pope. It is unavoidable. Project Blue Beam is the calling in of the great reptilian space pope. And that only then will we start to understand the hive, that there is a hive of people that will want to believe in a puppet. Why do you think we have puppet dictators now? We have been programmed into this idea, which is why we have cowboys. Ronald Reagan was a cowboy and an actor. And that we are becoming accustomed to these puppets because you and I, in order for you and I, I'm not talking about the masses, I'm literally talking just to you and me, that you and I are going to Israel. We are going to Israel. And the only way you and I can go to Israel is to question Israel. What is real? What is real? And Project Bluebeam is here to separate the ones who want to believe from the ones who have the power to believe. This is such a subtle thing, but this is how you separate the wheat from the chaff. It's how you pull the rapture. And there's not even a bad part. You don't get to say the ones that believe in the hive are good or are evil. Those are the evil ones, but the ones who don't are the good ones. It's you know what that is? that's a wonder in the sky. That's an illusion you have about this idea of good and evil. Is, well, those good guys. The good guys are all the ones that are sending their kids to school and paying their taxes and saying thank you for your service. Those are the good guys, James. The bad guys, those are this invisible elite that are super rich that drink kids' blood. And we don't have their... Okay, Klaus Schwab, that's it. Klaus Schwab, that's the bad guy. There he is, yeah. And if we could just get rid of him, we'd be great. We'd be super, wouldn't we, Ron? Yeah, we'd be super. Because we're the good guys. Yeah, we're Zionists, you know. We don't mind drone bombing some schools. Why? Because we're the good guys. What do you think? You think it's easy being a good guy? You're going to have to drone bomb some schools. You're going to have to human traffic. You're going to have to invade a country every 1.3 years and insist that you're the good guys the whole time. You're like, yeah, we're here to rape you because we're good guys. Do you know why it works? Because of this. It works because of this. America doesn't go around going, we're the baddies, right? We don't do that. You know that. Yeah, you can ask for this blue space chicken, and I'm telling you, they tried to roll out the blue space chicken. They did. They literally tried. They're like, will you take blue space chicken? And a lot of people are like, no, we want SSP reptilians. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm telling you that there is some deep, 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 deep energy that exists on another conscious level. And some people call it Bigfoot. Some people call it UFOs. Some people call it spirits. Some people call it demons. Some people call it devils. Some people call it psychic ectoplasm. And I'm here to tell you that if your senses are reporting something, that it's real. That's what I'm saying. Even when it's not real. Even when it's not real, because I'm asking you to change your definition of what objective reality is. I'm asking you to unhook from this bullshit idea that, yeah, what you do is you collect 9 out of 10 people and you put them in a room and they duke it out, and whichever one of them has the closest thing where all of them say the same thing, that's reality. That's complete bullshit. Do you understand how lame that is? That's consensus reality. Consensus reality isn't real reality. What is consensus reality? What most people would be willing to swallow and accept, which means it would be the weakest link, the chain, weakest link of the chain, employed right there in your definition of reality. And that's where we're living right now. That's why we have 2 parties. The largest, most powerful country in the world only has choice between 2 colors every election. Just 2. You think that's a coincidence? Or do you think that people just don't want to admit it's predator and all they require is just 2 colors? That's all it takes. That's the only costume America needs. It's the only one. If you give me 2 colors, I'll buy whatever story you want to tell me. Right? 9 out of 10 didn't agree. That's right, Tate. That's right. If you're interested in joining the, if you're interested in joining the Tabernacle, it's not too late. You're going to need to catch up, though. You're going to have to come to Airship, participate. You need to get your 5-5 ticket. You need to get that. 5-5 tickets. We sold a lot, so it's definitely on. And like I said, the Tabernacle, the first stone, has already been rejected and then reclaimed and used as the cornerstone. So I'm pretty excited about it. Let's see. So someone in the audience there has seen the Ark of the Covenant, so they know what to expect. Awesome. Good job, Lana. You will see the same thing. It's pretty amazing. Now, if your eyes don't melt, you will really, really like it. It'll be great. It'll be super. Speaking of which, there is an airship tonight. It starts at 7, and it's a great time to check that out too. 5-5 just decided to play in last night. Excellent, Debbie. We look forward to seeing you at 5-5. It's going to be really freaking sweet. And yeah, we are looking for Tabernacle recruits. If you have a clean heart, And if you have a kosher diet for 7 days, and then you have to, what else do you have to do? You're probably going to have to sacrifice something. I know, I'm sorry. But the temple priest is like really, really particular about that. But if you do all that, then, you could come into the holy place and help us build it, right? Remember, only the purest of heart can come into the temple to even build it. So, and these aren't even the people that get to see the ark. These are the people that just help build the temple. So, we could use all the help. Do it. We could use all the help. Be great. Shh! Don't say that, Nate. It's not in Antarctica. Stop talking about it. And the secret space program that James is a part of, guys, don't. Stop telling people that. I don't want to get the rumor started that my I'm trying as hard as I can do it with a straight face. I don't want to start any rumors that my Navy credentials entitle me to secret knowledge about the secret space program. Stop suggesting that. Please don't suggest that. Don't do that. So yeah. How help? Sorry, I'm slow. Well, you got to come to Airship Autumn. You got to find out. And if you do come and you get on the thing, there is a Google Drive. And once you get access to the Google Drive, all the secrets of 5.5 are revealed. There's so much planning that's going into 5.5. You'll see the event. You'll see the docket. You'll see the menu. You'll see all the technical information that you might need to help plan. You'll see group lodging. You'll see all of the cool things that you would expect inside that Google Drive. And if you wanted to come to Airship tonight, Debbie, you can't get there on Telegram. However, if you go into Telegram and you ask someone for an invite, I bet you can be someone's +1. So, there's another way. So you can try Airship without actually having to join. So there you go. You guys will figure it out. Debbie's asking, how do I access? I think someone will help with that. By the way, guys, Friday, High Magic came back. The show High Magic with Sarcastic and Mephisto. It was really great. Thank you so much, Graham Greenwood. Man, you rock. That was last Friday. It was so great. It's been like 3 weeks where we haven't done a show, so it felt really good to be back in the saddle. And Mo's just fantastic. That dude, we're so lame in America. We only speak one language, but the dude is a magician. He's really good at the English, I must say. So anyway, so yeah, check that out. And check it out this Friday. Fridays at 9 p.m. That's Katua time. If you don't know what Katua is the heart of Appalachia, and some people call that Eastern time, but Katua time, 9 p.m. Also, just so you know, I try and do an evening stream on Wednesday and then a day stream on Friday or Monday, sometimes both. I just haven't really been back at it. Been just doing a lot of other things, one of which is preparing for 5.5. There's a lot. We're writing a script. We're producing some parts of the show. There's some costumes involved. There's some really interesting technical things that we're achieving for 5.5. I seriously cannot stress enough how much of a mecca I think you will find 5.5 to be. Even if you don't live here, I think you should consider coming and realizing it really is not a day-only event. That there's more to this than meets the eye. So, I guess I already said that. So you should consider all those things. And yeah. Some of you may know him as Sarcastic Warlock, but it's actually Sarcastic. So yeah, you can check that out too. I got some interesting feedback today. Some of it having to do with like the chat interview, which I really liked. One guy was pretty brave and was, basically just saying, your attitude of this world is here to help you or to teach you is bullshit, that kind of thing. And I think what happens is that people think that I'm asking them to forgive bad things that happen in the world. And this confusion happens because you're mixing the words compassion and consent. You think those things are the same thing, and they're not. You can watch what Predator does in the world and compassionate that without actually consenting to it. Why do I say compassionate? Because if you understand why predator is doing what it's doing, you become instantly no longer vulnerable to the danger that predator presents. I'm telling you that this predator is so slow, it's so methodical, it doesn't take anything personally. It's literally just opening its mouth like a whale shark and just swallowing people that are too slow to get out of the flow. And while you're busy telling me how evil it is and how cruel it is and how awful it is, you are missing the opportunity to compassionate what it thinks, how it feels, where it moves, where it goes. It has a season to its feeding. It has a rhythm to its feeding. And you cannot see that if you're too busy hating and seething the injustice of what predator brings. And that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to forgive predator. I'm telling you to uncouple your consent engine, the parts of you that says, I consent to this. Uncouple that train, that car from your compassion engine and start to use compassion for what it's meant to be used for, which is as a sonar, as a predicting sonar. And you're not going to predict it if you insist government is right, smarter than you, and that every single piece of technology they ever talk about is real. Stop that. That's what an abused spouse does in a relationship. It does all three of those things. It insists everything it's told is true. It insists that the spouse knows best and that it has all the power. It insists that it would never lie to it because of how close it is to it. That's what an abused spouse does. Your government is a professional predator. That means it lies to you. That means it relies on deceit more than it relies on violence. It relies on intimidation more than it relies on violence, which is why it was always a silly little lie we told each other when we insisted that the media or Hollywood was somehow separate from predator. In fact, we know now that it's the main tools. They're more effective than the military, more effective than the police. Even more effective than the newspaper is Hollywood. And that the stories that it tells you that are allowed to be shared, the stories that we're allowed to find each other in, are the stories that dictate our behavior, that set the mood and the tone for the fashion of what we call delightful to watch. And so we have this new definition of death. And we're afraid of this new definition of evil, which has a set evil intent. Evil is born to be evil. Evil is nurtured to be evil. Evil finds joy in being evil. And none of those things are ever going to be what comes for you when it's time for you to die. It will never be. It will be the coldest, most methodical, most apathetic beeping machine you've ever seen. It won't laugh. It won't maniacally shake its fist as it's eating you. You wish it would. You will wish it would. But the apathy is so much more along the line of predator. You can compassionate this. You're compassionating the reaper. You can see your way through what used to be the darkness. And this is really the corona. This is the point. And when people doubt that this world is meant to be some sort of school, they're missing the fact that you and I are blooming consciousness and that we are more conscious than our forefathers. We know that because we know our parents. We know our grandparents. And overall, we've become more conscious than we used to be before. And we have things like Mandalorian effects. We have all the different things to try and dismiss it away, but we have grown the spectral fidelity to experience consciousness. And since we've grown that spectral fidelity to experience consciousness, it would be very correct, nay, even appropriate, to assume that whatever system that we have here actually was designed for the growing of consciousness. Now, if you want to believe in the archons and you want to have this fantasy where you've got nipple clamps on and that someone's going to torture you, I'm not stopping you, because you could still take what I'm telling you, the real raw information that we are here in a system that is literally a garden for our consciousness, that we are becoming more conscious. And if you don't want that to be a happy tale, if you want to go full archon on it, then fine. I want you to picture that we're here to sprout consciousness purely for the sole delight of the Archon eating you like a fucking berry, that it pops your consciousness into its fucking head, into its mouth, and swallows you like a grape. There, now you're Archons, now you can keep your nipple clamps on. But you still have to agree with this simple fact that if you look at this world, it is here to breed and grow consciousness. So why is this not a greenhouse? And the only reason why you might dispute that is because you do not want this to be a place of good. Because if this is a place of good, why the fuck does it have to hurt so much? And here I am telling you that the reason why it has to hurt so much is because you have not alchemized what is happening to you. And that what you're calling that pain is actually muscle growing stronger. And if you stop victimizing yourself, you'd start to understand that you're in this gym and you're lifting this weight by choice. You're consenting to burn muscle right now as you're listening to me. But James, there's mud that covers the first 2 floors of all the windows. All the windows are covered in mud, James. And no one's telling the story except for this one guy, which means that we are all victims from our own information. We have to go look it up. Can never compete with that. James 2 Live cannot compete with that. I can't do it. Which is why I'm not in charge of the government. Do you realize if authentic truth, this thing that I'm pushing, which I'm not even trying to say is better, but do you realize that this is truly what people wanted? I would be in charge of the fucking world. I would. I'm sorry, I would. You guys would be like, damn. In authentic world, James is fucking in charge. And that's not going to fucking happen because we don't live in authentic world. We don't live there. We live in comfort world. This is comfort world. Welcome to comfort world. Like to offer you a beanbag chair over here. That's comfort world. And man, I'm not here to knock comfort world. That's where side boob comes from. All of the softest things in the world come from side boob. Probably vanilla pudding is only here. Vanilla wafer pudding is probably only here because of comfort world. I don't want to change comfort world. I just want us to admit what it is. That's all. I don't even want us to. You know what? If you don't want to admit it, don't admit it. Who cares? Don't admit it. Don't admit it. Doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because the world is beautiful. It's not broken. But it's broken and we have to find the witch. And if we kill the witch, we'll fix it, James. My dad was a Luciferian, and so we have to find the witch. And once we kill the witch, we can get it. And you're on your way to Oz, right? You're like, let's go see the fucking wizard. Let's go see the wizard. He'll be dressed like this. He'll be dressed in something apropos, right? I'd be like, Wiz, I love what you did with your hair. He's like, don't you like it? Yeah. It's sort of like H.R. Geiger, but in Care Bear. It's like a Care Bear and H.R. Geiger blended together. And all of us are competing for these ideas, which the consensus would find the most acceptable. And I'm telling you that the consensus would find it very acceptable if a dude named James True was to utilize his classified rating in the Navy to start to expose the truth about the secret space program. And if that was happening, which thank God the rumors like that haven't started, my work would be full through the roof. Because I could speculate as a prophet of sacred knowledge that no one else had. And why does that feel good? It doesn't feel good because I'm giving you information you didn't know before. That's not why it feels good. It feels good because it feels good to think you were fooled, but now you're not. That's what feels good. There's the prana economy. The prana economy of watching that is to say, oh, I used to be fooled, but now I'm not. Oh. And that is the warmest hot tub with the best vanilla pudding. Right? From the most side boob you've ever seen. All at once. All in a tapas like 3-course meal served one after the other. I channeled the blue space chicken. And you know what he said? He said, Bach. 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 That's all he said. And I knew in those Bachs what the secret vessel of this entire place was. It changed my entire paradigm. Please understand, I am not telling you that there are not UFOs, that there are not aliens. I'm telling you that there are there, that we choose the costume that we put them on to make them feel comfortable. And I'm suggesting to you the idea that using the power of animism, you can actually change that shape. That you can interact with that in a special way and have that relationship with the fear that they invoke and see more than you ever could see before. That you would see it even more. I'd like to thank you for watching the show today. I'd like to say I appreciate you all. And, yeah. See if there's any final things that people want to suggest over here in Rockfin. And thank you so much, Graham. You're keeping the show alive over there. Thank you so much, Graham. Seriously, appreciate you. I love doing the show, by the way. But this just really helps. Purple looks good on you. Well, thank you. You know, I ordered the shirt. It said it was black, but it came in and now it's purple. It's purple. Go figure. But yeah, finally getting the office back in order. You know, it feels really good. Feels way into the whole office being back in order stuff. So, I'm a Taurus too, Brett. I am a Taurus too. Yeah, you like to see the little toroidal hint there over my head? Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I think eggplant is nightshade. Do you guys realize that tomatoes were like poison in colonial America? That you would actually be accused of poison if you tried to serve someone tomatoes? This is fascinating to me because I can't eat red sauce. And I used to think it's because I was broken. I don't think it's because I'm broken. And I love tomatoes. You kidding? Oh my God, cherry tomato? Oh, come on. Come on, there's even tomato bars, right? You get it. All right, we'll see you guys next time. And if not, unless I see you on Airship, then I'll see you here really soon. So, you know, you could pop in there and say hi. So there you go. And yes, our eggplant's nightshade. He's secretly telling us. I know the purple. Thank you, John. I'm glad you noticed. John sees the wink. John sees the wink. Thank you, Thomas, and thank you for coming aboard the Vitriol Orchestra. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be so much fun, guys. Oh, my God, it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to tell you more. Yes, eggplant is nightshade. Ha, I knew it. Yeah, 5-5, guys. Get tickets while they're under $100. Right now, tickets are still under $100. You're going to freaking love it. Catherine Hopkins is in the audience. Oh, that's beautiful. Guys, take care. Enjoy the outro song. We'll see you on the other side.
Center
Bok? 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 Bok?